Welcome to another edition of Ask the Hub. Today we want to talk about what are the key parts that are important if you want to build a digital product. And for that matter, we invited Kresimir Bojcic. He is the CEO of Kodius and is an expert on the topic. Hi Kresimir, how are you doing?
Hi David, I'm good. How about you?
I'm good as well. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the different parts. What parts do you see are important when you build digital projects?
Like when you start fresh, like greenfield projects for a new product, you have a bunch of moving parts, and each one of them is crucial to make it a success. Like first one, of course, is you need to have a viable idea that you believe in. Like even if nobody else believes in it, like you need to believe in it. You have some tough choices to make about technology. Like you need to decide, do I want to go niche technology and like use this really cool team which can deliver like product in half the time because it's important, or do I want to go mainstream and like play it safe? And basically it depends on who you're working with and like what's your personal preference for this sort of thing. You need to be careful about team composition. You need a bunch of different abilities in your team. And this is where agencies come in handy because they have a bunch of people that you don't need to hire and they kind of come and go. You need to, most importantly, think about UX. How is this gonna work for the client so that they can understand it, they can use it. And also design is really, really important. For like final polished, like posh look that kind of makes or breaks your product. Just think about how many years before iPhone you had like smartphones or smart surfaces, touchpads, whatever, that didn't really click with anybody until they got better UX and better design. So I think it's really important now these days, when like a lot of products are being built and a lot of products are not even reaching customers because they just get trashed. You need to stand up somehow.
Okay, and this you do with a good customer experience, right? With a good user experience that user understand and feel and have a natural experience when they go through the product.
Yeah, it feels simple and it's a complexity in making it simple. It just feels right. Like if you do it properly, and it's not easy because it's always different domain, and you need to really think deeply about the problem to be able to solve it simply.
So when we talk now about the different parts in developing digital products, what is the process behind of building a good digital product? What should we think about there?
Yeah, you need to focus on building a product that's going to win market. You don't want to build something mediocre or that's too late to the game. So for this, it's important to have a good team developing it. Like these days, all IT companies are using Agile, and for some it works great, for some it doesn't work. Some use these industrial versions, which are like you do all the steps, but you don't like get the essence of the process. Sometimes the team is bad, like the wrong people are working on it, so you end up with like missing deadlines or missing features that you wanted to build, and they like you didn't like elicited them out, so they stayed hidden, and you end up with a substandard product which is not good enough. So for the process, I would say it's important. My point would be it's important to have a good team which knows how to use the tools. Agile is fine, but you need to know how to use the tools. Otherwise, it's not the Agile problem, it's like the people doing it problem if you don't have good results. Like I believe other processes would also work. Like Agile is really modern, like for the last 10 years, but other processes would work with good people. So it's mostly people doing the work and knowing what they are doing.
people understanding the process and using it in the right way, which is definitely with Agile not always the case, right? Many people misunderstand it or use it in all kinds of ways, think they can do just everything, they can jump from one thing to the next because we can just, change everything in the next sprint and the next sprint and the next sprint, and then we don't have to make any decisions. So that's a good point. So when we say the team is so important, how do you set it up for you? What is for you a good team for a product?
Yeah, if you are talking about like perspective where you hire a vendor to do your project, then it's important to trust them. Like you need to have mutual trust on both sides, and you need to keep your relationship open and honest. And this sometimes means you want to have like some unpleasant questions being asked and some hard decisions to make in the beginning or in the middle or at the end, like where you need to help the team to you need to steer the project in the right direction, the product, and you don't want to change your mind too much because it costs a lot, but you also want to be able to steer it in the right direction. It's kind of like driving a car. So you don't, like if you're going to a different city, you don't know exactly like where you're going to turn, but you're steering it all the way through. And then you need to have a good car, right, to get there. From the cost perspective, it's important to have phases. And this took us a while to kind of internalize and develop. Like we always wanted to start coding tomorrow, but at the end, like it turns out it's not the fastest or the cheapest way. So at the beginning, you have business analysts, UX people trying to figure out like what is the domain, how to make it simple and usable. And then you have designers, you need to sign off on that. You need to be happy with how design looks because it's really much more expensive, the last phase, which is development. And then also, so you need a team that knows each other, but it's not feasible to afford all of them, like the whole process. So they need to communicate very effectively and kind of pass the knowledge and findings and the decisions being made all the way through when you have a live product.
So when you look at all these moving parts and the process and the team and all that, so what then? I mean, when can I say this project was a success?
Yeah, it's easy. It's when it's on time, within budget, and you build the right thing, and that's easier said than done. Yeah, that's easier said than done. But basically, like my definition would be, it should give you value as somebody who invested in this product. It should give you value either internally, so you have some like automation in some digital process, which makes you better than your competition, or that you have a product which you can sell to the different buyers which are willing to pay money for it. It's also nice to have an ability to change your vendor, like so that you're not locked in with the original vendor implementing this. It gives too much power to the vendor if you don't have choices. So it's good to keep an eye on that. And also you need to have a good team that's making sure your product is afloat. And if you have any like emergency issues, they get fixed quickly, so it doesn't affect the bottom line. That's kind of the successful project. Good documentation, good result, on time, on budget, and like solving the right problem which brings value to others.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, right? The value part, definitely, that you really have created something that brings value to the company, to the user, actually, that in the end will use it. I mean, when we talk about this magic triangle of quality, time, and budget, I mean, yeah, it's always there are always these decisions to make in which direction to go, but the value part, it's not a given for sure. There's a lot of money wasted very often, actually, when companies build product that in the end nobody uses, which is unfortunately very often the case. Many people don't know.
Yeah, and it breaks my heart a little when this happens, especially if I was the one writing the code. So that's the thing we are trying to avoid.
Sure. Yeah, but this is why you need experience in doing this, right? This is why it's important to have an experienced software company that has done this already sometimes, this has gone through this whole process and has understood, okay, how can I do it better, and understand really how to make it successful.
I agree.
Good, then, Kresimir, thank you very much for your insights on the topic.
Yeah, likewise, really interesting conversation, and thank you for having me again.
And for the viewers out there, if you have questions to Kodius or when it comes to this topic in particular, please leave them down here in the comments and we are happy to answer them. See you next time.